Hello, Macarb here. A few weeks ago I uploaded a video on the basics of sigils. This video I want to focus on improving that by focusing on writing more specific, more effective sigil intents. When it comes to sigil intents, there is one thing you always want to be: specific. Simply put, the more specific you make your goal, the more effective the sigil will be. It's like communicating with someone. The more specific you are about what you want the other person to do, the more likely it is that they will do what you want them to. This allows you to have a more specific goal in mind for how the sigil will complete its task. For example, instead of using the sigil intent, "I will receive food," you may want to use "I will receive a pizza." That is, if you like pizza. Realistically, this can have a lot of applications with your sigils. That was just a nice silly example, really. Just always have it in the back of your mind that, unless your goal is to complete something very broad, you'll want the sigil to be specific towards what your goal is. Try to avoid having vague sigils as well. If we use our somewhat ridiculous pizza example again, saying "I will receive food" doesn't necessarily mean you'll get the food that you want. The food isn't specified, and food is a really broad term. Instead of receiving what you usually perceive as food, you might be presented with a cow. Technically, a cow is food because they're used to make steak. It just isn't an immediately edible form. If you're not as vague and specify what you want, you will be more likely to get what you want out of the sigil. For example, instead of "I will receive food," try "I will receive an edible meal." It's still a little vague, but you at least know it's probably edible. Even further, you can specify what you actually want to eat, so we get "I will receive a pizza." There's also one thing you want to avoid with sigil intents: negatives. Negatives in general tend to mess up the sigil. There's some exceptions, obviously, but you will see in a second. First thing first, always avoid want. The term want is very different than will. Want means that you yearn for something, while will means that something is inevitable to happen. For example, let's go back to the food intent. "I want to receive pizza" means that you want it, not that it will necessarily happen. Chances are that you'll just end up hungry for pizza. Instead, if you state "I will receive pizza," there is no way around it. You will receive that darn pizza. The same goes for words like might, maybe, possibly, and the like. When you're writing a sigil, you already want something to happen. Our goal is to cause something to happen. That's why we use will instead of most other terms. Keep in mind that not all negative terms you use might really mess up your sigil. For example, say your boss is about to go and fire a bunch of people. We don't know why, but maybe your life is an old workplace sitcom and maybe someone pranked the poor guy, we don't know. Anyway, you decide to write a sigil about it. You use the intent "I will not be fired today." This might mess things up, as "not" is usually used in a negative context. This doesn't mean the sigil will completely mess up, but there's a chance, and you probably don't want that right now. Instead, you can try "I will avoid being fired from my job today." Not only are we being much more specific, but we're also not using any explicitly negative terms. We're accomplishing pretty much the exact same goal as the other intent, just much more effectively. Another very useful thing to do in your sigil intents is to make them time-based. If your sigil has no time basis, say "I will receive pizza," there is no set period that you will get that delicious pizza in. You could get it in a timely manner, but you might get it in 10 years. Chances are you're going to have a lot of pizzas between now and 2028. Instead, you might want to try the intent "I will receive pizza today." This gives you a set time, sometime today. We did the exact same in the sigil that prevented you from being fired from your boss. Instead of leaving it without a time basis, we stated specifically that you would avoid being fired today, so that you wouldn't get the boot and prevent getting fired sometime in 10 years. So, congrats! Now you get to go home from your comical office job, sit down and eat pizza with your possibly existent family. I hope you learned something from this video. Wishing you a beautiful morning, evening, and night wherever you are. This has been Macarb. Till next time. Hey, Macarb here. Thank you so much for watching. Before I go, I want to give credit where it's due. This video and my entire channel would not be possible without the help of my great friend, Dora. She's an amazing artist and an amazing friend. Check out her Twitch below. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy my content. Until next time, this has been Macarb. Thanks for watching.